At my new outpost, my first assignment is to spend a night with the alien queen. Ethan Brooks stepped off the shuttle, his boots crunching softly against the metal ramp of the outpost. The sun of Erendor 5 was just rising, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. The outpost stood alone on a rocky plateau, surrounded by dense forests that seemed to stretch endlessly. It was quiet, too quiet. Ethan took a deep breath and adjusted the straps of his pack. He had trained for many missions before, but this one was different. This was his first solo assignment at a frontier outpost, and not just any outpost. Here, humans were trying something that had never been done before, establishing contact with the Xiphorians. Ethan had read reports about them, but nothing could fully prepare him for what he might face. As he walked inside the small terminal building, he met Sarah Lang, the communications officer. Sarah was already at her console, typing rapidly. Her brown hair was tied back in a neat ponytail, and she didn't even glance up when Ethan entered. "Morning, Ethan," she said without looking at him. Her voice was calm, almost too calm. "You made it in one piece." "I try," Ethan replied with a small smile. He wasn't sure if she could sense his nervousness, but he hoped she didn't notice. "You'll need that calm," Sarah said, finally looking up. Her green eyes studied him carefully. "This assignment is unlike anything we've done before." The humans at the last contact post didn't last a full day. Ethan's stomach tightened. "They did," Sarah shook her head. "The Xiphorians are strange. They test anyone who comes near their queen. Most people can't handle it. Don't worry, though. We'll be monitoring you." Ethan nodded, trying to appear confident. He was trained, prepared, and brave. But this wasn't about combat or survival. This was about trust, understanding, and walking into the unknown. Ben Taylor, the security specialist, joined them next. His broad shoulders and serious face made Ethan feel slightly safer. "You ready for your first night with royalty?" Ben asked with a smirk. "I don't even know what to expect," Ethan admitted. "That's the point," Ben said. "Just stay calm, follow instructions, and don't do anything stupid." The three of them walked toward the shuttle bay where their transport was waiting. Outside, the alien landscape stretched endlessly. Tall trees with glowing leaves swayed gently in the wind. Strange birds with bright feathers flew past, making soft, musical calls. The Xiphorians' home planet was beautiful, almost peaceful, but Ethan could feel the weight of his mission pressing on him. When they reached the shuttle, a soft hum filled the air. The ship's doors opened, and a holographic map appeared, showing the path to the Queen's palace. The palace was deep within the forest, a structure made of strange materials that glowed softly in the morning light. Ethan felt a mix of excitement and fear. He had trained for dangerous missions, but he had never been asked to live with an alien queen for a night. His mind wandered to what that might mean. Was it a test of courage, of intelligence, or something else he couldn't even imagine? As the shuttle lifted off, Ethan sat back and tried to calm his thoughts. The forest below grew smaller, the colors blending into a sea of green and gold. He remembered the reports Sarah had shown him. The Xiphorians were intelligent, advanced, and protective of their queen. They had survived conflicts with other species because they were cautious and clever. Humans had never been in their inner circle before. The shuttle's engines hummed steadily as it approached the palace. Ethan could see the structure clearly now. It looked like a giant tree with multiple levels, its surface glowing with soft lights. Around it, smaller buildings formed a circle, connected by bridges and walkways. There was a sense of life and movement, but Ethan could see no one. Not yet. When the shuttle landed, they were greeted by the palace guards, tall, elegant creatures with long limbs and shimmering skin. Their eyes were large and golden, and they moved with a grace that was both beautiful and intimidating. "Stay close," Ben whispered to Ethan. "They watch everything." The guards led them inside. The palace smelled of flowers and minerals, a combination Ethan had never experienced before. The walls glowed faintly, changing colors as if alive. It was quiet except for the soft hum of the palace itself, almost like it was breathing. Finally, they reached a large chamber at the heart of the palace. In the center, sitting on a raised platform, was the queen, Liara. She was taller than any human, with long arms and glowing eyes that seemed to look directly into Ethan's mind. Her presence was commanding, yet there was something gentle in her gaze. Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. He had read that the queen could communicate through telepathy, sharing thoughts and visions directly with anyone near her. He had no idea what it would feel like. "Ethan Brooks," the queen said, her voice in his mind rather than his ears. "You have come willingly to spend the night with me. Are you prepared?" Ethan swallowed hard. "Yes, your majesty, I am ready." A wave of images passed through his mind, visions of the Xiphorian world, their history, their victories, and their losses. Ethan saw cities made of light, forests glowing with life, and the queen as a child learning to lead. It was overwhelming, but he tried to focus. "You will not be harmed," the queen continued, "but your mind will be tested. Your courage, your empathy, and your understanding will be seen. You must be honest and true." Ethan nodded, even though she couldn't see him. He felt the weight of the responsibility settle on his shoulders. This night was not just about diplomacy. It was about showing the Xiphorians that humans were more than just a new species to study. Humans could be trusted. Humans could be allies. The guard stepped back, leaving Ethan alone with the queen. He took a deep breath and moved toward her platform. Each step echoed softly in the chamber. The queen watched silently, her golden eyes never leaving him. "Sit," she said, and a glowing area formed for him to rest. Ethan lowered himself carefully, feeling the energy of the place hum through his body. He had never felt anything like it. The night began slowly. Ethan and the queen communicated in silence at first, exchanging thoughts, feelings, and images. Ethan learned about her people, their fears, their hopes, and their desire for peace. He shared humanity's story in return, highlighting courage, empathy, and the drive to explore the unknown. Hours passed. Ethan's initial fear faded as he realized that the queen was not an enemy. She was a being of wisdom and insight, testing him not to harm him but to understand him. Each vision, each thought, each silent exchange brought them closer to understanding each other. Ethan began to feel a strange sense of connection. He had never imagined that a species so different from humans could feel familiar in some way. Their minds were different, but their emotions, the desire to protect, to lead, and to understand, were the same. Outside the chamber, the palace hummed with life. Other Xiphorians moved gracefully through the halls, observing silently but not interfering. Ethan realized that every movement, every glance was part of the test. They were learning about him as much as he was learning about them. Time seemed to stretch. Minutes became hours, and hours became something intangible. Ethan stayed calm, focused, and honest. He answered questions not just with words but with thought and feeling. The queen observed everything, sharing visions of her past and listening to his experiences. By the time dawn approached, Ethan felt exhausted but enlightened. He had faced the unknown and survived. More than that, he had connected with a being from another world in a way no human had before. Liara's thoughts entered his mind one last time. "You have passed the first trial, Ethan Brooks. You have shown courage, honesty, and understanding. This night is only the beginning, but it is enough to prove that humans can be trusted." Ethan felt relief and pride. He had not only completed his assignment but had begun to build a bridge between two species. He looked at the queen, his respect for her deepening with every moment. "Thank you, your majesty," he thought, his mind filled with gratitude. "You are welcome," she replied. "Rest now. Tomorrow brings new challenges, and your role here is just beginning." Ethan lay back on the glowing platform, feeling the hum of the palace around him. The first night with the alien queen had been more than he had imagined. It was not just a test, but a beginning of something far greater, a bond that could change the future for humans and Xiphorians alike. Outside, the forests of Urindor 5 glowed in the morning light, a reminder that a new day had begun, full of possibilities and hope. Ethan closed his eyes, ready to face whatever came next. Ethan woke to a soft glow filling the chamber. The palace seemed alive, the walls changing color slowly, as if they were breathing with the planet itself. The night with the queen had left him tired but calm. He felt a new sense of purpose. Today, he would learn more about the Xiphorians, their culture, and their people. The queen, Liara, was already present. She seemed to float rather than walk, her presence graceful and commanding at the same time. Her golden eyes looked at Ethan with curiosity. "Good morning, Ethan Brooks," she said in his mind. "You rested well, I hope." "I did, Your Majesty," Ethan replied, keeping his thoughts clear and calm. "Thank you. Today you will see our ways," she said. "You will walk among my people. You will observe, ask, and learn. But remember, the lessons are not only in what you see but also in what you feel." Ethan nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Walking among the Xiphorians would not be easy. They were cautious and intelligent. They watched everything and judged every action. The palace doors opened, and Ethan followed Liara into the bright corridors. The walls pulsed with light, showing patterns that seemed alive. Small creatures moved along the floors, their bodies glowing softly. Ethan had no idea what they were, but they did not seem dangerous. As they walked, Ethan noticed other Xiphorians observing them from a distance. They were tall and slender, with skin that shimmered slightly, reflecting the colors around them. Their movements were smooth, almost like a dance. Ethan felt both awe and fear. Every step mattered. One wrong move could be seen as disrespect. Liara led him to a large open space, filled with Xiphorians of different ages. Some were practicing combat techniques, their movements precise and quick. Others were working with glowing tools, creating machines or art that Ethan could not fully understand. The air was filled with a soft hum, like the palace itself was alive with energy. "Observe," Liara said in his mind. "Notice how we live, how we work, how we think. You will see what makes our people strong." Ethan watched carefully. The Xiphorians were disciplined but not harsh. They worked together, their movements synchronized as if guided by one mind. Yet each of them showed individuality in subtle ways: the tilt of a head, the way their hands moved, the glow of their eyes. A young Xiphorian approached Ethan. She was smaller than the others, her skin a light green with faint patterns. She looked at him with curiosity but no fear. "I am Nira," she said, her voice gentle in his mind. "You are new here. Will you speak with me?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, I would like that." Nira smiled slightly, and for the first time Ethan felt a small connection with a Xiphorian that was not through the queen. "Do you understand our ways?" she asked. "I am learning," Ethan replied honestly. "I want to understand your people. I want to show that humans can be trusted." Nira tilted her head. "Humans are different. You feel many things at once. You are brave but also uncertain. That is not bad. It is rare." Ethan felt a small thrill. It was encouraging to hear that even a young Xiphorian noticed the qualities humans could bring. He realized that this connection could grow if he approached it with care and respect. Liara's voice entered his mind. "Observe Nira. She represents the future of our people. Learning from her is as important as learning from me." Ethan spent the morning moving among the Xiphorians, guided by Liara. He watched them train, create, and communicate. Everything was different from humans, yet some things were familiar: the laughter of the young, the pride of those who achieved something, the care for each other. During a break, Ethan sat with Nira near a pool of glowing water. She gestured for him to look into it. He saw reflections of the sky above, but also images of Xiphorian history. He saw battles fought long ago, cities built and destroyed, and moments of peace and celebration. It was as if the pool was alive with memory. "Do you see?" Nira asked. Our people remember. Every action matters. Every choice changes the future. Ethan nodded. It is beautiful and powerful. Humans have history too, but we do not always remember the lessons we should. Nira tilted her head. That is why you are here. You must learn, and we must see if you are worthy. Not all humans can be trusted, but you, she paused, as if measuring his soul. You are different. Ethan felt pride but tried to hide it. Humility was important here. I will do my best, he said quietly. After the break, Liara brought him to a place that seemed like a library. It was enormous, with walls of glowing shelves filled with objects, images, and lights. Ethan could not understand everything, but he could feel the knowledge stored here. It was overwhelming. This is our memory, Liara said. Here, we store everything we learn. You may look, but you must also feel. Knowledge is not only in objects, it is in understanding. Ethan walked slowly, letting his eyes move over the shelves. Each object seemed to tell a story, and some of them reached into his mind, showing feelings and thoughts rather than words. He realized that Xiphorians learned not only with their minds but also with their hearts. Do humans feel knowledge this way? Liara asked in his mind. Ethan thought for a moment. Not usually. We remember and we learn, but we rarely feel knowledge. We use logic and reasoning more than intuition. Liara tilted her head. Perhaps that is why you are interesting to us. Your way of thinking is different, yet your feelings are strong. This combination is rare in the galaxy. Ethan felt a mixture of pride and humility. He wanted to show that humans could be both logical and compassionate, brave and careful. He realized that this was the beginning of trust. Trust was more than words. It was action, feeling, and understanding. As the day continued, Ethan was introduced to more Xiphorians. Each encounter was a lesson. Some tested his reactions to danger, others tested his patience, and some simply watched to see how he interacted with others. Ethan learned quickly that respect was the key. Every small action mattered. Every thought could be sensed. During a quiet moment, Ethan asked Liara a question. Why do you test me like this? Why not just talk or explain? Liara's voice entered his mind gently. Because understanding cannot come from words alone. You must feel, see, and think. You must understand not only our people but also yourself. Only then can trust exist. Ethan nodded slowly. He understood. Humans often relied on words, on contracts and agreements, but the Xiphorians relied on understanding. Trust was deeper here. Trust was alive. By evening, Ethan was tired but more confident. He had walked among the Xiphorians, observed their ways, and begun to understand their culture. He had made a small connection with Nira, and the Queen had acknowledged his progress. As the sky outside turned dark, Liara led him back to the chamber where he had spent the night. The glow of the walls was softer now, more calming. Ethan sat quietly, letting the events of the day sink in. You have done well today, Liara said. You have seen our ways, but this is only the beginning. Tomorrow, you will face new challenges. You will not only observe but also act. The true test is coming. Ethan felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. He did not know what the next day would bring, but he felt ready. He had survived the first day, learned much, and begun to build trust. He had also learned that humans had something unique to offer: courage, empathy, and a mind that could adapt to the unknown. As he lay down to rest, he thought about the Xiphorians and the Queen. They were different, yes, but not so different that understanding was impossible. Humans had a way of facing the unknown with determination, of learning quickly, and of feeling deeply. Ethan realized that this night and day were more than a test. They were the beginning of something greater. He closed his eyes, feeling the soft hum of the palace around him, and allowed himself to imagine the possibilities. Tomorrow would bring challenges, but Ethan Brooks was ready. He was no longer just a human visitor. He was a bridge between two worlds, a sign that humanity could rise to meet the unknown and shine. Outside, the forests of Erendor 5 glowed under the twin moons. and the palace hummed with life. The planet was alive, and so was the future of human and Zaphorian friendship. Ethan's first full day among them had passed, but the story was only beginning. Ethan woke to the soft glow of the palace lights. Today would be unlike any day he had experienced before. Liara had told him that the night of trials was coming. These trials were designed to test his mind, his courage, and his heart. Ethan had prepared himself as best he could, but he felt a knot of anxiety in his stomach. Liara appeared before him, her golden eyes calm and focused. "Today you will face challenges that will show who you are," she said in his mind. "You must be honest with yourself and true to your nature. Only then will you pass." Ethan nodded. "I understand, Your Majesty. I am ready." She gestured, and the doors of the ceremonial chamber opened. Ethan stepped inside, and the chamber felt enormous. The walls were made of a smooth, glowing material that pulsed like a heartbeat. Strange symbols moved across the walls, changing shape as he watched. In the center of the room, a soft platform of light appeared, as if waiting for him. "Step forward," Liara said. Ethan did as he was told. The platform lifted him slightly off the ground. He felt a tingling sensation run through his body. Then, without warning, the chamber changed. The walls shifted and dissolved into a vast landscape that looked like a mix of forests, mountains, and rivers, but everything seemed slightly unreal. "This is the first trial," Liara said. "You will face challenges of perception and thought. You must see what is real and what is illusion." Ethan looked around. Shapes moved in the distance, some human, some alien, all shifting and changing. The ground beneath him felt solid, but he knew it could change at any moment. He took a deep breath, focusing on his senses. Humans had a unique ability to adapt, to reason under pressure, and he would need it now. A figure appeared before him. It looked like a human soldier, but its face was blurred, and its movements were strange. The figure raised a hand, and Ethan felt a wave of fear pass through him. His mind whispered, "Is this real? Am I in danger?" "Focus," Liara's voice entered his mind. "Fear is natural. Do not let it control you." Ethan closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them slowly. He took a step forward. The figure moved as well, but Ethan noticed something. Its movement was patterned, almost predictable. He realized that the trial was not to fight, but to understand. He extended a hand, not in attack but in greeting. The figure stopped, then slowly transformed into a glowing orb of light. Ethan smiled slightly. He had seen through the illusion. The first trial was past. The chamber changed again. Now he was in a narrow canyon. Rocks towered on both sides, and a river of glowing liquid flowed between them. Across the river, he saw small creatures struggling to reach the other side. They looked fragile and frightened. "This is the second trial," Liara said. "You will show your compassion and resourcefulness. Help those who cannot help themselves." Ethan looked around. The river was too wide to jump. He noticed that some rocks could be moved, forming a temporary bridge. He worked quickly, using his hands to shift the glowing stones. The creatures watched him, their small bodies trembling. Finally, a path was made. The creatures crossed safely, looking back at him with what Ethan felt was gratitude. The trial was not just about helping. They were testing his patience, his intelligence, and his willingness to act without hesitation. The chamber shifted again. Ethan now found himself in a vast desert. The sky above was filled with swirling colors. In the distance, he saw a tower of light. He knew instinctively that he had to reach it, but the ground beneath him was unstable, constantly shifting. "This is the third trial," Liara said. "Endurance and courage will be tested. The path is uncertain. Do not turn back." Ethan started walking. Each step was careful. The sand shifted beneath him, sometimes swallowing his feet, sometimes forming paths that led nowhere. He stumbled several times but kept moving forward. His mind remained focused. Humans were persistent. They did not give up easily, and this was his advantage. Along the way, he encountered illusions of people he cared about. His family, his friends, even colleagues from past missions appeared, calling to him, begging him to leave the trial. Ethan's heart ached, but he forced himself to continue. He knew that leaving would mean failure. Hours seemed to pass. The sky above shifted in colors, signaling time moving strangely. Finally, he reached the Tower of Light. He stepped inside, and a feeling of calm and strength washed over him. The trial was past. The chamber changed again. Now he was in a dark room filled with shadows. Whispers filled the air, making it hard to think. He felt fear, doubt, and confusion. Shadows moved closer, forming shapes that seemed to know his deepest secrets. "This is the fourth trial," Liara said. "You will face your mind and your emotions. Do not hide. Do not lie. Only truth will guide you." Ethan closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He remembered everything he had done, his courage, his choices, his thoughts, and his feelings. He accepted them without judgment. The shadows approached, but he did not move away. He faced them calmly. One by one, the shadows dissolved. The whispers faded. Ethan realized that the trial was not about fear, but about honesty and acceptance. Humans had the ability to reflect, to recognize their flaws, and to grow from them. This was one of their greatest strengths. Finally, the chamber shifted once more. Ethan was back on the glowing platform where he had started. Liara stood before him, her eyes calm and golden. "You have passed the trials, Ethan Brooks," she said in his mind. "You have shown courage, intelligence, compassion, and honesty. You have proven that humans can rise to meet challenges in ways that are rare in the galaxy." Ethan felt relief and pride. He had faced illusions, danger, and fear, yet he had remained true to himself. He realized that the trials were more than tests. They were lessons, showing him the qualities that humans brought to the universe. "Thank you, Your Majesty," Ethan said. "I have learned much. I will continue to learn." Liara smiled slightly, a gesture that seemed almost human. "You have done well, but remember, trials are only the beginning. Understanding, trust, and partnership must be built over time. You have taken the first step." Ethan spent the rest of the day with the Queen, reflecting on the trials. They walked through the palace gardens, where glowing plants swayed gently. Liara shared visions of past leaders and their decisions, showing Ethan how the Xiphorians valued wisdom, patience, and insight. "You see, Ethan," she said, "we are strong because we understand ourselves and each other. Humans have similar potential, but it is rare to find one who can combine courage, empathy, and intellect as you have. That is why you are important." Ethan felt humbled. He had always believed in human potential, but hearing it from another species made him feel proud. Humans were not just explorers or soldiers. They could be diplomats, thinkers, and bridges between worlds. Later, Ethan met Nira again. She watched him with curiosity and a small smile. "You did well," she said simply. "The trials are difficult, few succeed." Ethan smiled back. "I had guidance and I had to believe in myself. That is what humans do." Nira tilted her head. "Humans are strange. You act with both mind and heart. That is rare." Ethan laughed softly. "Maybe that is why we survive." As night fell, Ethan returned to his quarters. The palace glowed softly around him, a constant reminder of the world he was now a part of. He lay down, exhausted but content. The trials had tested him in ways he had never imagined, but they had also shown him his strengths. He thought about the future, the challenges he would face, the lessons he would continue to learn, and the bond he was forming with the Xiphorians. Humanity had a place here, and he was determined to help them earn it. The night was quiet. The palace hummed gently, and Ethan drifted to sleep, dreaming of glowing forests, shifting landscapes, and the golden eyes of the Queen. He knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, but he was ready. He had passed the trials, and he had proven that humans could rise to the occasion, even among the stars. Ethan woke to the hum of the palace, a sound that now felt familiar, almost comforting. The trials had tested him, but today would be different. Today, the Queen said, he would face a challenge that was not just a test of skill or heart, it was a test of action. Liara appeared before him, her golden eyes calm but serious. "A threat approaches, Ethan Brooks," she said in his mind. "Your courage and intelligence will be needed. This is not an illusion. This is reality. Act wisely." Ethan's heart beat faster. He had expected tests, illusions, and visions, but now there was a real danger. He followed Liara to the observation deck of the palace. Outside, the forests of Urindor 5 stretched endlessly. In the distance, dark shapes moved across the land, ships, creatures, or something he could not yet identify. "They come from beyond our system," Liara said. "A hostile faction seeks to invade. They do not know us. They do not understand humans. You must help prevent them from reaching the palace." Ethan took a deep breath. Humans had faced threats before, but this was different. He was on an alien planet, facing beings who had survived many wars, and he had limited resources. Yet he felt a strange calm. Humans were clever, resourceful, and adaptable. That could make the difference. He quickly moved to the control room of the outpost. Sarah Lang and Ben Taylor were already there, monitoring the approaching ships. "They're fast," Ben said, his usual calm replaced with tension. "We might not have much time." Ethan looked at the screens, assessing the situation. The ships were large but slow in their formation. The outpost had defensive energy barriers and a few automated weapons, but nothing compared to the approaching fleet. "We can't fight them head-on," Ethan said. "We need a strategy that uses the environment, the outpost, and the terrain to our advantage. Let me think." Sarah nodded. "We trust your judgment, Ethan." Ethan quickly devised a plan. He studied the terrain around the palace and the forests nearby. There were natural energy nodes, glowing crystals that could amplify the palace's energy shields. If used correctly, they could create a defensive barrier strong enough to stop the enemy ships temporarily. He instructed Ben and the outpost crew to activate the nodes in sequence. "Timing is critical," Ethan said. "We need to lure the fleet into the canyon where the nodes can focus their energy. Once they are trapped, the shields will hold them back, giving us a chance to negotiate or retreat if needed." The crew moved quickly, following his directions. Ethan's plan was risky, but humans were known for taking calculated risks and adapting quickly. He had to trust his instincts and the abilities of his team. Outside, the dark shapes drew closer. Ethan could see the enemy ships now, strange and angular, moving with precision. They were clearly experienced, but they had underestimated the outpost and its defenders. "Now," Ethan said, and the nodes activated. Energy surged through the crystals, creating a glowing barrier along the canyon. The enemy ships entered the canyon, following their programmed path, unaware of the trap. Ethan held his breath. The energy shield flared, sending pulses of light across the canyon. The ship slowed, then stopped, unable to move forward. The barrier held just as he had calculated. "They won't get through," Sarah said, relief in her voice. Liara's presence appeared beside him. "You have done well, Ethan Brooks," she said. "Your intelligence and courage have protected not only yourself but also my people. This is a rare quality among humans. You are extraordinary." Ethan felt a sense of pride, but he remained focused. The threat was not completely gone. They could still attack from another direction, and the enemy fleet might try to overpower the shield. "Ben, get the defense systems ready for manual control," Ethan said. "Sarah, monitor all movement. We may need to adjust the nodes if they try anything unexpected." Hours passed as the enemy fleet tested the shield, sending smaller ships to probe for weaknesses. Ethan stayed calm, analyzing every movement. He noticed patterns in the enemy behavior. Their ships reacted predictably when faced with energy barriers. Humans could exploit that. Ethan devised a second part of his plan. He instructed the outpost crew to create false energy signatures, simulating weak spots in the shield. The enemy ships took the bait, sending their ships toward the decoy points. When they did, the nodes redirected energy, temporarily disabling the ship's engines. The enemy was trapped without realizing it. Liara observed silently, her eyes reflecting the glowing energy around them. You have shown humans are not only brave but also clever. Your ability to adapt quickly is remarkable. Ethan smiled slightly. He had always believed in human ingenuity, but hearing it acknowledged by an alien queen made it even more satisfying. The enemy ships struggled, trying to free themselves from the energy trap. Ethan saw an opportunity. He instructed the crew to open a communication channel. A holographic projection appeared, showing Ethan and Liara side by side. "This is Ethan Brooks of the human outpost on Urindor 5, he said clearly. "You have entered our territory without permission. Any attack will be met with resistance. Stand down and we can avoid conflict." There was a moment of silence. Then the alien fleet commander appeared on the projection. His face was angular with dark, reflective eyes. "We will not retreat," he said. "Your planet will be ours. You will surrender." Ethan remained calm. "You underestimate us," he said. "We are not just humans, we have allies. We have intelligence, strategy, and determination. If you attack, you will fail. I suggest you leave." The alien commander hesitated. He clearly did not expect such confidence. Ethan had learned in his training that hesitation could be enough to turn the tide. Humans could use boldness as a tool, and it worked now. The enemy ships began to retreat slowly, unsure of the energy barriers and the human strategy. Ethan remained vigilant, adjusting the nodes and monitoring every movement. Finally, the fleet turned away completely, disappearing into the distance. Ethan let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. The threat was over for now. Liara approached him. "You have protected your people and mine. You have proven that humans are capable of greatness. You are not just a visitor here. You are a leader, a problem solver, and a protector." Ethan felt humbled. He had faced real danger, not illusions or trials, and he had succeeded. He realized that humans were not just survivors. They were thinkers, creators, and defenders. Their ability to adapt, to think quickly, and to act with courage made them extraordinary. After the crisis, Ethan walked through the palace gardens with Liara. The glowing plants swayed gently and the air was calm. "You have earned the trust of my people," Liara said. "Not because of your strength alone, but because of your mind and heart. Humans have qualities that are rare in the galaxy, and you have shown them well." Ethan nodded. "I only did what any human would do. We protect those we care about and we find solutions when others cannot. That is what humans do." Liara smiled faintly. "Indeed, that is why you are important. That is why humans will have a place among the stars. You are the beginning of a new understanding." Later, Ethan met Nira again. She looked at him with curiosity and admiration. "You were amazing," she said. "You faced danger, solved problems, and stayed calm. Humans are strange but good." Ethan laughed softly. "We try. Sometimes we fail, but we keep going. That is how we survive." Nira nodded. "I hope your people continue to show the universe what you are capable of. Today, you have made a difference not only for yourselves but for all of us." As night fell, Ethan returned to his quarters. He was tired, but he felt proud and hopeful. Humans had faced a real threat and had succeeded. They had shown courage, intelligence, and adaptability, qualities that even the Xiphorians respected. He thought about the future. Challenges would come, dangers would appear, and uncertainty would always exist. But humans had something unique, the ability to think, to adapt, and to act with both heart and mind. That would make all the difference in the galaxy. Ethan lay down and closed his eyes, letting the calm of the palace fill him. Outside, the forests of Urindor 5 glowed softly under the moonlight. The palace hummed quietly, a reminder of the bond he was forming with the Xiphorians. He knew tomorrow would bring new lessons, new challenges, and new opportunities. But for tonight, humanity had proven itself. not just to the Xiphorians but to himself. They were capable, strong, and ready for the unknown. Ethan drifted to sleep, dreaming of glowing forests, distant stars, and the golden eyes of the Queen. He felt a sense of purpose stronger than ever before. Humans could rise to any challenge, and this night had proven it beyond doubt. Ethan woke to the soft glow of the palace once again. The events of the past days weighed on him, but he felt a calm confidence. He had passed the trials, faced real danger, and proven human courage and intelligence to the Xiphorians. Today, he would see the results of his efforts. The bond he had begun with the Queen and her people would take shape. Liara appeared before him, her golden eyes calm and steady. "Ethan Brooks," she said in his mind, "you have shown courage, intelligence, and heart. Today we solidify what has begun. You will witness the strength of partnership between our species." Ethan nodded. "I am ready, Your Majesty. Whatever comes, I will do my best." Liara gestured, and the palace doors opened. Ethan stepped outside into the morning light. The forests of Erendor 5 glowed softly, and the palace hummed with life. Xiphorians moved about, preparing for a ceremony. Ethan could see they were organizing something important, and the sense of purpose in the air was clear. "Today," Liara said, "we honor the courage and potential of humans. You will not only observe, Ethan, but also participate. This is a celebration of trust and understanding." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and humility. Humans had proven themselves in the trials and in the defense of the outpost, but now they would be recognized in a formal way. He wondered what the ceremony would involve. The palace opened into a large courtyard. At the center was a glowing circle of light, shimmering in the morning sun. Around it, Xiphorians of all ages gathered, moving with grace and precision. The energy in the air was palpable. Liara led Ethan to the circle. "Step forward," she said. Ethan stepped into the light. A wave of warmth and energy passed through him. He felt connected to the palace, the people, and even the planet itself. It was a feeling he had never experienced before, a bond that went beyond words. "You have earned the respect of my people," Liara said. "Not because of power alone, but because of your mind, your courage, and your heart. Humans have qualities that are rare in the galaxy. Today, we acknowledge them." Ethan looked around. The Xiphorians watched him with curiosity and admiration. Some bowed slightly, others simply nodded. It was a recognition that humans were not just visitors, they were allies. Neera approached him, her small frame glowing softly. "You have done more than we imagined," she said. "You have shown that humans can rise to challenges, protect others, and think in ways that are remarkable." Ethan smiled. "I only did what humans do best. We protect, we think, and we adapt. That is all." Liara's presence returned to his mind. "What you have done is more than action. It is proof that humans can be trusted. This night, this ceremony, and the events of the past days mark a new chapter. You are the first human to walk among us in this way, and you have opened the path for many to come." Ethan felt a deep sense of pride. Humans had come far in the galaxy, but this was different. This was not about conquest or exploration. It was about understanding, partnership, and trust. He realized that humans had something unique to offer: courage paired with intelligence, empathy paired with action. The ceremony continued. Liara raised her hand, and the energy circle expanded, forming a bridge of light that connected the palace to the surrounding forest. Ethan understood that this symbolized the connection between humans and Xiphorians, a bond that could not easily be broken. "You have a choice, Ethan Brooks," Liara said. "You may return to your people, sharing what you have learned, or you may remain here, helping to guide the partnership between our species." Ethan thought for a moment. His duty was to his people, but he had also formed a bond with this world. He could help ensure that humans and Xiphorians understood each other, that both species benefited from cooperation rather than conflict. "I will stay," he said finally. "I will help build this partnership. Humans and Xiphorians can achieve great things together. Liara's eyes glowed with approval. Then let this day mark the beginning of a new era. Let humans and Xiphorians learn from each other, protect each other, and explore the galaxy together. The ceremony continued with displays of culture and skill. Xiphorians demonstrated their artistry, intelligence, and precision. Ethan participated where he could, showing humans' ability to adapt quickly and think creatively. The crowd of Xiphorians watched in awe as he solved challenges they had set for him, blending human innovation with courage. Later, Ethan walked with Liara through the palace gardens. The glowing plants swayed gently in the breeze, and the soft hum of the palace surrounded them. "You have proven that humans are not only brave but also wise," Liara said. "Your actions have shown us what your species can do when faced with danger, uncertainty, and the unknown. You are a symbol of what humans can achieve." Ethan nodded. "I only did what humans do best. We adapt, we protect, and we never give up. That is who we are." Liara smiled faintly. "Indeed, and now the universe will know. Humans will no longer be underestimated." Nira joined them, her eyes bright. "I am glad you stayed. Together we can learn so much from each other." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. He had not expected to form such strong bonds with an alien species so quickly, yet here he was, recognized and respected by both the Queen and her people. "Humans have much to teach," Ethan said, "but we also have much to learn." "This is only the beginning," the Queen nodded. "Exactly. Today is a celebration, but tomorrow the real work begins. Together, humans and Xiphorians will face challenges, explore new worlds, and protect each other. You have taken the first step, Ethan Brooks, and your actions will be remembered." As the sun set over Erendor 5, the palace glowed softly. Ethan stood on the balcony, looking out over the forests and mountains. He felt a deep sense of purpose. Humans had proven themselves in trials, in action, and in diplomacy. They had shown courage, intelligence, and heart, qualities that were recognized even by a species as advanced as the Xiphorians. He knew that the road ahead would not be easy. Challenges would come, dangers would arise, and misunderstandings could threaten the bond between their species. But he also knew that humans had something special, the ability to think, to adapt, and to act with courage and empathy. That combination would make all the difference. Liara appeared beside him. "Ethan Brooks," she said, her voice calm and full of warmth, "you have done more than complete your assignment. You have opened the door to understanding and friendship between our species. The galaxy will watch, and your people will rise to meet it." Ethan nodded. "I will do my best, Your Majesty. Humans will not fail." The night grew darker, but the palace glowed with life. Outside, the forest shimmered in the moonlight, and the air was filled with a sense of peace and possibility. Ethan felt that humanity had earned its place in the stars, not by conquest or power, but by courage, intelligence, and heart. He thought of the days behind him, the trials, the danger, and the lessons learned. Each challenge had tested him, but each had also proven something important. Humans could rise to the occasion, even among the stars, even in the company of beings far different from themselves. Ethan lay down that night in his quarters, feeling a deep calm. The palace hummed gently, a reminder of the bond he had helped create. Humans and Xiphorians were now connected, not just by treaties or words, but by understanding, respect, and shared experience. As he drifted to sleep, he dreamed of glowing forests, distant galaxies, and the golden eyes of the Queen. He knew that tomorrow would bring new adventures, new lessons, and new opportunities. But he also knew one thing clearly. Humanity had proven its worth, and the bond between humans and Xiphorians would change the future of both species forever. Ethan smiled softly. He had come to a new world alone, uncertain and anxious. Now he was part of something greater, a bridge between species, a symbol of what humans could achieve, and a reminder that courage, intelligence, and heart could open doors to the universe. Outside, Erendor 5 shimmered under twin moons, a world alive with possibility. Inside the palace, the queen's presence glowed softly, reflecting the new hope she felt for the future. Humans had arrived and they had shown their true worth. The galaxy would never be the same again. Ethan closed his eyes, ready for whatever the future held. Humanity had taken its first steps into a new era, and he would be part of every one of them.